Okay. Excuse me. Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope you're all doing well. As always, guys, make sure you do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content, finding it useful. It really does help out. And of course, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, because you, of course, will be notified. But guys, welcome back to another stream. I have dropped the link to the Discord in the chat there, pinned as well, so you can't miss it. Make sure you go check it out for discount opportunities for elevating traders. Join the discussions there. Drop trade ideas, share trade ideas. I share trade ideas there as well. So if you feel like you'd be interested in that, make sure you go check it out with that link. But yeah, we had some news yesterday. So we have seen some interesting news in the market. I have been keeping a close eye on pound USD. We were looking at pound quite a lot yesterday, particularly because we had Bank of England come out with their interest rate. And we did see, well, eventually did see price drop, but we did see price kind of push up first, which was a bit weird because rates did fall. So I was kind of expecting pound to fall as well. But I mean, it did eventually, just not straight away, which is why it's always difficult to kind of trade news off the bat, because it's always kind of unpredictable, especially in the moment. Overall, of course, you can use fundamentals from that perspective, but in terms of the news release, in terms of seeing the news straight away, it can be 50-50 sometimes. But yeah, pound USD did see some downside. I do expect to see some retracement now. However, I don't think we're going to see such a big swing anymore to the upside, which was the overall plan I had for pound USD. I was looking for a big swing all the way back to the high there. That was the plan coming into this week, into last week as well. Looking for trades for that idea. I do think we'll see some upside because the market's probably due a retracement, but I do not think we'll see a big continuation back to the high. I think we're more likely going to see something like this, a correction, and then probably a continuation low. Of course, we do have NFP today as well, so that will cause a bit of ruckus in the markets. But generally speaking, from a technical point of view, it does look like pound USD probably will retrace, but probably will continue lower. So looking for some short-term buys makes sense as we come into these areas here. I think we just about tapped into that wick there. So that does make sense there for pound USD, and we could see some upside off that. It's just, yeah, my longer term bias, swing bias, is definitely take a bit of a beating now. And like I've been saying, I've been trying to stay away from the dollar pairs because I have no idea what dollar's doing. If anyone's trading dollar, let me know. But it is looking very, very chaotic in my opinion. It's been consolidating since last week. I think last week's price action was a doji. If I go to the weekly chart, yeah, last week was a doji, and this week looking somewhat of that nature as well. Yes, we do have news this afternoon, which could potentially, give us a big bearish candle, a big bullish candle, depending on price reacts. But generally speaking, it's kind of just another small body candle, and we've been doing that for the past 3 weeks, as you can see with the candlesticks there. So we're really lacking momentum, and I'm hoping we can eventually get a breakout. I'm hoping we possibly see that this afternoon with NFP. It looks like price is trying to form a lower high, so we could be seeing a push back to that low. Of course, that will be the first area of support. And if we do see dollar sustain some weakness, that probably will help out pound USD higher, euro USD high as well. Although euro is already looking pretty bullish. Because again, for euro, I'm still looking for a big swing to the upside. I'm still looking for a big swing like this to the upside. I'm not really looking to trade it. Just because conditions are not good at all. So I will have to wait and see how Euro USD develops after NFP, and then I'll make up my mind next week. But if we do see a big fall for DXY today, which would be very, very nice, something like this, big fall to the downside, that will help Euro USD push along. And then all of a sudden, maybe Euro USD decides it wants the trend, and then next week there could be some nice pullbacks on the dips, looking to trade that higher. and possibly back to the high. And maybe I start looking at the dollar pairs in a bit more detail because there are a few targets to the upside. But at the same time, I'll just wait and see what happens. Again, I'm not trying to predict too much, especially with all the choppiness in the dollar pairs. Yen pairs and CHF pairs still look the best to me. Aussie yen, dollar yen, Swiss yen, all falling to the downside really, really well. So yeah, I will be looking at opportunities in that regard. Good morning, Rick. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. But yeah, with the yen pairs, we are still bleeding. Well, some are a bit more bearish than others, but generally speaking, we are still looking very, very bearish for them. So I'll be expecting more of the same. Really, I was looking for some short-term buys for euro yen on this area, but it did not hold at all. Price broke through that very, very swiftly. So going forward with euro yen, just keeping it simple, looking at a pullback at some stage. It looks like maybe that pullback could be getting underway pretty soon. We're kind of running out momentum a little bit, so throwing some wicks, possibly could be seeing price push up to resistance again soon. Of course, not this week. The week's about to end, but next week possibly something like this. And again, looking for the same continuation. Nothing crazy, just keeping up with that price action. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Looking for another one and looking for another one. So in terms of the yen pairs, the bias is just very, very clear. Momentum is clear as well, which means it's just much easier to trade. What is up, Emmy? Welcome to the stream. Yes, I will take a look at dollar yen. Of course, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you are well too. But yeah, euro yen looking at some downside. If I touch on dollar yen, so dollar yen is kind of the only yen pair which I'm not really looking to short, just because of where we're trading at the moment. We are still seeing the similar price action, and there's a very likely chance that if euro yen and pound yen and the other yen pairs all drop together, we'll see some downside. Dollar yen will see some downside as well. But from a technical point of view, especially looking at the weekly chart, coming into an area which I don't really want to sell into. So as you can see, really, really, really big trend line there. Markets respected a few times. We've got first, second, third test there. Could be seeing price coming in for a fourth, for another bounce. And we do have really solid resistance over here, which of course will be turned support. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to hold. Price could definitely break through this and continue falling. But at the same time, from a technical perspective, it doesn't make too much sense to be selling at these prices if you're looking for a swing. Whereas if you're looking at something like euro yen, which is breaking through structure, this looks a little bit better because we're not coming into major support. Pound yen, likewise, we're not coming into major support yet. CAD yen, not coming into major support. These ones look a little bit clearer to sell. So although we probably will see dollar yen continue falling, it's just because of where we're at. I don't like the positioning, so I'll back away. And maybe there is some short-term buys here. Of course, the buys are going to be quite aggressive, but we're due a retracement, and we're at a nice place for it. So the buys look good, but you might want to take them with reduced risk or just be a bit more cautious because, you are trying to reverse a really, really aggressive bearish move there in dollar yen. But yeah, I would expect to see some retracement for now. Afternoon, Antonio. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Holy One of Israel, what is up? Lots of profits used that. Yeah, the indices did hit the ground pretty hard yesterday, which was crazy because they're looking so bullish, and then all of a sudden, complete U-turn. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a reason why the market will move down or up. It might not be such an obvious reason why. But of course, nothing's 100%, nothing's perfect. Not always in the market will follow your bias, follow your analysis. All you have to do is understand that, okay, the idea or the reason behind my trades, there is edge behind that. So whenever I see those setups, I'm always going to look to take them. Not every single one's going to play out like today or yesterday. But yeah, in the long run, you know that the edge will pay you. But yeah, pretty hard move. We'll take a look at the indices. Yeah, shorts on Nasdaq, S&P yesterday. We're going to go to them, them both. They did come into a nice level, but I wasn't expecting them to fall that hard because we had a really strong daily close. But just take a look at them now. So we had a really strong daily close on the daily. So as we can see, really strong close there, bullish engulfing candle. So although we did come back into structure here, which I was pointing at yesterday, I said we might kind of sell off back to this area and then see price push up. But yeah, that did not happen at all. Price completely broke through that without much rejection at all. So yeah, it was a nice location because it's kind of like a head and shoulder area and retest of the neckline. So you got your left over there, you got your head over there, brief right shoulder, and of course that's your neckline. So a really nice retest of that level. But yeah, I wasn't expecting prices to fall off so hard. Same thing for S&P as well and US 32. So yeah, things are looking a little bit more interesting now for the indices. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one because hindsight is always the always yeah, it's always helpful after you've seen the move. It's like, okay, yeah, I should have exited that trade because of this or that, or I should have held on because of this or that. But at the end of the day, all that matters is the actions you did take. Did you hold on to the position? Did you come out? Did you take partials? Did you trade a stop loss? Did you whatever? That's the only things that matters. And whenever you do that, record it somewhere, keep it in a journal, because then you can always look back and see, okay, am I making the right decisions here? Am I exiting too early for my trades, or am I holding on too much? Each individual trade is going to be hard to predict consistently all the time, but generally speaking, you can kind of come up with a good management plan of what you should have done or should do. Yeah, but yeah, that's trading for you. That's trading. Sometimes you call it perfectly right. You get into a trade, things are not looking good. You exit, and the market tanks against you, and then you're like, "Yeah, well done. I managed that very, very well." And then sometimes you take a trade, things are not looking too good. You're like, "Okay, I'll pull the trade. I'll get out." And then some reason, some news comes out, and it just flies in your direction. You're like, "Oh, why did they come out the trade?" Um, it's happens both ways. Good morning, Synthware. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are good. Yeah, of course. Always another trade. Losses are always happening. There's always another trade. Always. Tizzy, congratulations. Yeah, I remember you said you were short on that one. Smash TP 950 pips. Yeah, that was a big move, especially in one day as well. I think that's the thing about indices. You can see some big moves like that in one day. It does have its corrective periods as well, because look at this, a lot of nonsense there for US 30. But then again, it does have its some nice moves as well. There's some pretty nice moves up and down. So yeah, I do admire that from the indices. There is some pretty clean moves with some clean momentum, which is a little bit more scarce in FX. FX does have its days, but it does have its rough days as well, which do go on for a while. I mean, look at Euro USD, very choppy there. Aussie New Zealand dollar, we'll take a look as well, no problem. Yeah, it's easy in hindsight. Exactly. Yeah, very much easy in hindsight. It's always good to, whenever you make an action in the market, write it down then, and write down the reason then, because there's always that kind of dilemma when people look back at their trades. They're like, "Oh, I should have held on," but you're only saying that because the market went up, which is, of course, you should have held on if the market did go up. But was it a good reason to hold on? Was there obvious signs of rejection or whatever? Because sometimes it is the logical thing to do to close a trade early and you're just unlucky that the price did continue higher. Like 8 times out of 10, the market normally does reverse against you, but this time it didn't. So hindsight is it's good because, of course, you need to see what the market does to judge and develop a plan. But then it can also hinder you if you rely on it too much. Eurocad, we'll take a look. Good morning, Darktron. Hope you're well. Pound JPY will take a look as well. First, let me go through Aussie New Zealand dollar. So what has been up with this pair? We're looking very bearish. So yeah, this is a pretty hard fall. Weekly charts looking interesting. So yeah, this to me looks like price is just kind of faked the high there a little bit, and we could be seeing price continue to tank for next week and probably for the foreseeable future. I'm not gonna lie. This looks like a really nice impulse, kind of a big correction, kind of like a really long prolonged bear flag, and then we could see the continuation now. So yeah, really nice rejection at the high. I said I was waiting for price to commit either up or down. Looks like it's committed to the downside to me. So on the lower time frames, you're just looking at pullbacks for some shorts. I did say a retest of this area would be a nice place to short. Yeah, not too sure if we'll get there. There's a chance you might come up into this region and sell off anyway. So I would say keep an eye out on that area. If it doesn't hold, you got the second area. But generally speaking, we're looking at downside, really nice momentum. We've committed outside of this range here, which is beautiful to see. We rejected the high of the range in the weekly chart. So there's a lot of momentum, and we're a great place to expect more of the same. So I'll keep an eye on this area here, 1.09800. If it does fail and it doesn't hold, then you got the second level up here, which of course looks really nice. Strong break, no retest, so it's a fresh level. If we do get there, I would expect to see a reaction and some downside. So yeah, bearish buys for Aussie New Zealand dollar. Pound yen and Eurocad will take a look as well. Casperio, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Yeah, I mean, it's there's two ways about it, because of course it's easier to catch 15 pips than 55 pips in general. It's much easier, but then the logic with going for 55 pips is that you don't have to take as many trades to make as much profit, because for every trade you take, you're always going to put those 10 lots on. That means you're always risking that 10 lots to get that 15 pips, whereas you would trade with a lower lot size, take less risk, and you then let the pips or you let the pips do the hard work essentially. So there's more risk involved because you have to take more trades to make the same amount of profit than if you're just going to take a trade and let it run. But yeah, it is easier, of course, in terms of the distance to go 15 pips rather than 55. But then if you are going to go 55, you have to have some type of management plan, whether trading stop loss or taking partials. You have to have either one in play, because otherwise it's going to be very, very difficult. You could go easily 10 trades without hitting your target. And then, yeah, you could go even more than that. So you're going to incur a lot more drawdown. Your equity curve will be having a lot more stalemates, a lot more sideways. Eventually you'll get those winners, but they could be far in between. So if you can pay yourself along the way, take partials or trade a stop loss to lock in some gains, then it makes it a lot easier to target those bigger rewards. Hey, what's up, more? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Happy Friday. I'm doing good. Hope you are well too, more. Hope everything is good with you. No problem, Emmy. Happy to help. Also trying to see if there's a chance to buy maybe after NFP would better. Yeah, I think it's probably better to wait till after NFP, although the thing about waiting till NFP is sometimes the move has already happened. After NFP, you've already seen a massive move. Now the market's kind of just, because it is Friday as well. So after NFP, you will see the volume kind of steadily drop as the market does come to a close. So it's like, okay, if you haven't entered before NFP, And if you look to enter after, it becomes a bit more difficult because most of the moves happen. But in terms of risk, it's much safer to enter after, especially with a pair like dollar yen, because I do expect to see retracement as well. I'm with you with that. I do think we can see some retracement. It's just it's difficult because it's a dollar pair as well, so it's going to be heavily affected by NFP too. Maybe you can take the trade, but with lower risk, just to because of that. Okay, so Euro CAD and pound yen, I said I'll take a look at. So yeah, Euro CAD looking very, very bullish right now, pushing back to the high. I did say I'm expecting more downside back to 1.48. I was looking for the market to come back into this area, but it's looking very, very bullish at the moment. We were rejecting this high pretty well, but it looks like Euro or CAD, I'm not too sure which one it is. Is it Euro strength or CAD weakness? Or is it a bit of both? Yeah, because pound CAD isn't doing too much, so it's more like Euro strength. Don't know where that's come from. But yeah, it's looking pretty strong there for Euro CAD back at the high. This could be a really nice chance for a sell. As we approach the high there, if you can see some nice rejection, I do think that would be a nice place for a sell. Now, it might not be the home run all the way back to 1.48. But again, you can manage your trade accordingly. You can trade a stop loss, take partials along the way. If I drop to the hourly chart, even if you get a trade from this area back down to this range here, that will be a solid trade in itself. Probably get a nice 1-to-1, 1-to-2, depending on the entry. And then, you can start parceling out the trade, and leave a little bit to trail if you really want to go for a longer term target. But in terms of a logical place for a short, it makes a lot of sense. We're in a nice daily level. We've seen one nice reaction. There's a good chance we can see a second. The key thing is to see price get there and start rejecting. If not, of course, we can break through. That is a big possibility as well. But if we do start rejecting, throwing some wicks like we do over there, then this could turn into a nice sell. So yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on that for EuroCAD. So yeah, pound yen will take a look as well. Okay, no problem. We'll have a good one. See you soon. What's your thoughts on gold? Yes, I will take a look at gold. Yes, unfortunately didn't have 10 lot account size, so we swing. Yeah, I mean, you take it in baby steps. You start somewhere and then build. They're going to have the home run straight away. But yeah, you got to go through in stages. You got to go through the 1 lots, the 2 lots, the 5 lots, the 10 lots. You're not just going to go straight to the 10 lots straight away. You can build your account up, build your experience up, build your your comfortability trading those lot sizes up before you do start putting them on, because if you don't know what you're doing, it could be a fast way to zero. But yeah, you got to start somewhere. Trading's always it's the long game. Yeah, I hear that as well. I think if you are going to go longer term trades, and longer term, that's the wrong word. If you are going to go bigger risk rewards, then yeah, you have to have some management plan in place. Because if you think about it, say for example, you're shorting back to here and you're taking a short from here. What you're saying is, if I short from here, the market has to get to this level here for me to make a profit. Any other scenario, you don't make anything. You don't make profit. The market has to get to this specific point, because again, your take profit will be a price. So it's not like an area. It's going to be a specific price the market has to get to for you to make a profit, and that's very difficult to call. The market just moving from one particular price to another one, especially in FX, even in Cs for that matter as well, where it does fluctuate and it's difficult to predict pinpoint accuracy which level the market will get to. So if you're going to have big risk rewards, then you need to have something in place that pays yourself along the way, taking partials, trading a stop loss, something to manage the trade. Because otherwise you should be a one-trick pony. Price has to get there for you to make money. Price can move halfway before it moves back up, a quarter of the way, it can move 95% of the way, and then it will just push up. And each one of those scenarios, you don't make a penny. So you are limiting yourself if you don't take partials or use a someone's calling me. If you don't use partials or a stop loss, a trading stop loss, you're severely limiting yourself. It's great when it pays off, because the thing about big risk rewards, if you do take partials or you do trail, sometimes you miss out on the big risk rewards, because the partials means the overall profit you bank is less. Or if you trail a stop loss, you might get trailed out early and see price continue, so you might walk away for less profit. But then at the end of the day, it will definitely smooth out your equity curve and keep you more sane. Otherwise, like I said, you might go 10, 20 trades without hitting a win. And yeah, it's difficult to trade like that with a calm mind, which is why a lot of people like being in and out of the market, day trading, because they can take the profit, run away, and being done for the day or done for the session, whatever. But yeah, good risk reward is good, but have some type of management system in place. Okay, so pound yen absolutely falling out the sky. We do have a swing high here on the weekly chart. Looks like price is very, very close to testing that. So probably we'll see that happen, maybe even by the end of today with the news coming out. So I wouldn't be surprised with that. But what I can say with confidence is that there's a lot of momentum here. A lot of momentum here for pound yen. So naturally, if we do see some upside, the chances are it's just going to be another pullback for price to continue down. So yeah, I'll be expecting price to keep pushing lower. We're coming into major support now, so I would watch out for that. If I go to the daily chart here, actually weekly chart, sorry, we are coming to major support, so that would be a nice target to have. But other than that, there's just so much momentum to the downside, so I would only be looking at shorts. If you're looking to take advantage of retracement, be careful. Be careful looking for the buys here, because I can imagine a lot of people be getting burnt on this move down. So be careful with that. But if you're looking for shorts, you want price to pull back. This level is solid, 196. And yeah, I'll be expecting another lower high and another move lower. So yeah, very, very bearish on Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD? Where did I say Aussie CAD from? From pound yen. I haven't even looked at Aussie CAD yet. Okay, where was I? Okay, I'll take a look at gold as well. I was supposed to look at gold, wasn't I? Yeah, of course, that size of money is a lot to be risking in one position. But some people just generally just have a really good or really high risk tolerance, where they're happy to lose big because because they're planning to win big as well. Because at the end of the day, it is all risk to reward. If you're gonna lose a lot of money, you have to be in that situation where when you win, you make even more money. And you're just raising the stakes. But of course, it's a lot of money to risk on one position. You don't really necessarily need to, but at the end of the day, it's their money. They can risk it however they want. Afternoon, Anthony. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Can you take a look at dollar CHF? Yes, of course. We'll take a look. Ben, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So yeah, let me go through gold first, and then I'll take a look at dollar CHF. So yeah, with gold looking very bullish, almost back at the high. Wasn't expecting that from gold, to be honest. I was hoping for another retracement back to this area here, but gold, just being gold, decides it wants to continue looking bullish and continue flying up. So difficult with this one, because missed down a position here. I mean, I was long, it just got stopped out, unfortunately. So it would have been a really, really nice trade, but wasn't meant to be in that position. But yeah, if gold does decide it wants to take a breather, I'll be happy to take some buys. To be fair, if it pushes a little bit higher, I may even consider this area here as well for a buy. I may even consider that level there. It's been a little bit choppy now, so that's not looking great, but maybe you might get a bit more impulsive with the news later, and then that level might be a bit more interesting. But either one of these areas I'm keeping an eye out for. The plan is to look for a breather, pull back, high, low, and then a push to the high. Because there's a very high chance that gold is going to see some new all-time highs, and most likely we're probably going to see a push into 2,500, that being the next big psychological level. There's a good chance price is going to be drawn towards that area. But yeah, it's looking very bullish. Again, we've seen the high time frames for gold. It's still relatively bullish, strong monthly candle close as well. So looking for buys in general for this pair is always going to be a half decent idea. It just depends with your timing. Because you can still lose money in a bullish market even if you are only looking for longs, if your time is going to be very, very off. So it's all about the timing and the execution for the trade. But generally speaking, looking for buys right now makes the most sense. Monthly chart pushing up, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the hourly, you name it, is probably pushing up. So if you can see a nice dip, you're looking for entries. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for gold. Ever since we took out the high there on the left, yeah, expecting corrections and continuations. USD CHF we'll take a look at next. Andreas, what is up? Hope you're well. Thoughts on pound USD? Yes, we'll take a look as well. Anthony, yeah, possibly. 300% in 3 years on that pullback swing. Yeah, there will be a big one. It doesn't move in straight lines all the time. If you look at the previous price action for gold, it will have its big moves, its breakouts, its bull runs, but it will have its nice pullbacks too. As we can see, it does have its dips. So yeah, when it does happen, I think that's just another good excuse to buy. I don't see gold doing anything else apart from going up. Sure, it will have its downside moments, maybe some mini crashes here and there, but generally speaking, the overall direction is up, and it will most likely remain so. No worries, Ben. It's not really a comfortable question. No, I'm not in any positions. Haven't managed to take any positions this week. Had 2 last week, break even and a loss on gold. This week, haven't managed to get into. I've been pretty busy to be fair. I haven't really been looking at the charts this much this week. So yeah, I haven't really had so much opportunity to trade. But I've kept a bit of an eye. I've been focusing a lot on pound USD. I was looking at some yen pairs and CHF pairs at the start of the week for some sells, but they just didn't pull back enough for me. I was looking a lot at these areas, just didn't pull back enough to get a retest. CAD CHF as well, didn't pull back enough. Pound CHF as well, didn't pull back enough, and this one really sold off. So yeah, I've missed some opportunities on some of the CHF and yen pairs, and then pound USD just hasn't been playing ball. So I've stayed at the market this week. Anyway, so I will take a look at USD CHF and then pound USD. So yeah, dollar CHF, last time I had a look, yeah, that one's moving pretty well. I think CHF is really helping this one out in terms of CHF strength. Dollar's a little bit weak, but it has been really sideways for a while. But the swings have been pretty neat and tidy. High there, high there, high there, high there. High there as well, and a lovely move down. And now I see momentum pick up as well. So possibly dollar CHF from the higher time frames could be looking at making its way back to these lows. We'll look at this one as the first major target. And then if you break through that one, we can eventually discuss this one. But generally speaking, the market is falling pretty swiftly. So I think for the time being, until we get to 0.861, you're just looking for pullbacks and some shorts and taking that lower. CHF pairs look like they're headed to the downside anyway. And if dollar does make a big move to the downside today with NFP, I feel like that's just going to accelerate things. So yeah, if you can find some pullbacks, I'll be expecting another push down. This would be a nice retest of the low. Just wondering if we'll get there. But yeah, more of the same for dollar CHF, more of the same. Pretty clean price action, I must admit. Okay, so I'll go over pound USD. Temel, what is up? Good morning, good morning. Hello from Turkey. Probably not good morning there, is it? Actually, I think Turkey might be 2 hours ahead. So yeah, it's probably just gone afternoon for you. Pound NZD, we'll take a look. And yes, I'll go through pound USD now. So pound USD, I've been looking for longs all week pretty much. And just hasn't quite set up for me. We had Bank of England yesterday, so I was a bit apprehensive of trading pound USD, knowing that if rates do cut, pound is likely going to be bearish. And it was eventually, after a move up, it was eventually bearish. So it's always going to be difficult to long pound USD, especially with the DXY being so awkward as well. And we had a pretty big drop here. So what I'm looking now for pound USD is a move higher, but I do think it's just going to find resistance and sell off again. So I'm looking at something like this for pound, a move higher, and then another move down. Because I was looking for this move just to be a continuation. I've been talking about the push here, the pullback, the push, the pullback, the push, the pullback. I've been saying I'm looking for another push. However, it just hasn't sat well for me. And then we had some use and yeah, not looking as good anymore. So I'm not expecting such a big move anymore. I do think price is likely going to push up higher, but it's just going to be a pullback for price to continue lower. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound USD. Expecting more downside. Okay, we'll sit out today on trades. Yeah, it's not a bad day to choose to sit out. Friday, NFP day as well. Because again, it's always tricky situations. Either, okay, if you take a trade now, you've got about 2.5 hours, a little bit over 2.5 hours to NFP. You have to ask yourself, are you happy to hold a trade through NFP? If no, then you've got 2.5 hours to be in and out of that trade. There's a good chance that within 2.5 hours, the price might still be at your break even, or maybe floating a bit of a loss, or maybe just a bit in profit. And you have to be happy to take that and close that before NFP does come. Or if you're happy to hold through the news, then of course you're at risk a little bit of getting slipped and just nonsense stuff happening. So it's not a bad day to choose to sell the market. Okay, so we'll go over pound NZD. If I've missed out a pair, let me know. Antonio Silva, we will take a look. Hey, Manzondi, welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Excuse me. Okay, so pound NZD. So yeah, for this one, I do think we're in for a massive move down at some point. It might not be starting now, but I think eventually we'll see a big move down. At the moment, we are taking a bit of a breather. You can see the weekly chart looking pretty bearish there. I did say yesterday that this will be a nice place for a long if we can get there, not too far away. It's just because we've had such a strong impulse up and such a strong impulse down. Again, not necessarily, not. Oh, It's a really bad stutter. Not necessarily, there we go, a sign of continuation. So I'm not expecting price suddenly put a higher low in and absolutely fly to the moon. I'm actually expecting price to put a higher low in somewhere, correctively move up, and then have another big sell-off. So a smart place or a logical place to go long would be the retest of this high. Nice breakout. We never had a retest, so it's still going to be a fresh level on the daily chart. And we're seeing a lot of momentum at the moment. So if you can kind of continue this a little bit further back into 2.125, which is that level, and see some nice rejection, this could end up being a really nice area for a buy. And then, yeah, we might top out at some point and come right back down. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. A push up, put a lower high in, and then a bigger continuation to the downside. Because longer term, I do think we're going to melt, but have to take it step by step. Because right now, this is coming to a bullish area, and there could be some nice buys in store. Just a bad toothache, but I can't keep a strong trader down. So true, mate. So true. It's going to take a bit more than toothache to stop me from trading. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for pound entity. Some upside from 2.125, and then we'll discuss the shorts later on. But yeah, it's a really strong move up and a really strong move down. It's not like prices had a bit of a breather and correctively moved down like this. Then yeah, probably would do something like that. We've had a really strong move up, strong move down, kind of like an inverse V-shaped pattern, which again does mean more downside. So expecting a bounce, but probably will continue to sell off. In terms of silver's not looking as bullish as gold, but I did see some upside. Where am I going? So yeah, I mean, it's actually nowhere near as bullish as gold, but it did see a little bit of upside there. So again, with silver, I do think we can push up higher, but it's just very awkward because even if we do push higher, I do think we'll probably have another sell-off. You can see we had the high over there, push down, lower high there, push down. This could be a big bull flag, but at the same time, if you're not already in the position, it's difficult to get in for a buy now. So if you do keep pushing higher, this is now bearish territory, which could look nice for a sell. Maybe we buy up again at some other point. But yeah, if we keep pushing higher, I would be looking for some sells. If you're looking for buys, I would want to see another push into that low. That's the only way that the buys would make sense. I know we're kind of reacting off this area, which looks okay. The stop loss placement isn't the best. So yeah, if I'm looking for buys, I want another push back to the low, get a stop loss underneath that area, and then try and trade the trade. If we do push up a lot, then I'm looking at these areas for shorts. Something like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with silver. What was my technique? Trading waves technique. I don't really trade waves, but the idea with waves is that every time the market does create a new high. So for example, if we do have like a ascending channel and the market's moving like this, every time the market does create a new high, you expect the market to then push back in. So the idea with waves is that, I think with Elliott waves, it's 5 waves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get a reversal. I don't really trade that itself. It's not like I'm counting the waves and I'm like, okay, it's the 5th one, so I'm expecting a sell-off. I mean, it typically does happen on that kind of stage, but not always. The key thing I'm looking at when I'm looking at waves is trying to get in on the highs. So for example, if we're pushing up like this, I want to try and get the sell in this area here after the market's taken out the high. And then the idea is to try and catch the move here, to get to a point where I can go to break even, take partials or whatever. And then if the market wants to continue to sell off, fantastic. Or if it does come up against me, I'm out for a small win or a break even. I move on to the next trade. But the technique with waves is to get in at the high or at the low. So for sells, for buys, it would look something like this, market moving down. And then when we take the low out, the idea is to try and get involved in this area to anticipate the market moving back up again. And that's where you want to look for your entry. I took a similar trade to this on pound USD actually last week, and sort of gold as well, which didn't quite play out. But pound USD here, so my entry was here on this bullish engulfing candle. Let me darken it up so we can see, or brighten it. So yeah, I took an entry on that candle there. Stop loss was underneath the wick. There's a bus outside, so excuse that if you can hear it. So yeah, I took an entry there, stop loss underneath the wick, and then I was targeting for hopefully a big swing to the upside, which of course in hindsight we can see didn't happen. But you can see that every time we were taking out the lows here, the market did push to the upside pretty nicely. Took out the lows there as well, pushed up pretty nicely. So the idea is to get in once the price is taking out the low, because you're going to expect to move higher. Of course, in this case, it came back against me, but it came to a point where I could go to break even or take partials or manage the trade however I want to. And then if it does continue in my favor, fantastic. I'll continue to trail stops. Or if it does come against me, I'll walk away for a small win or a break even. So that's the idea. And then gold last week as well, which was similar, not quite the same. But again, waiting for price to take out the low, which it did over here. Nice move down. That idea was to get into the trade after that has happened. That was my entry, that was my stop loss. So of course, this one stopped me out before it made the move. So the timing was a little bit off. But generally speaking, the idea is that once we take out that low, I'm expecting a move higher. Just in this case scenario, I just got in a bit too early. If I entered a little bit later, then it would have been a really, really nice trade, which is using the same idea as well. So yeah, that's kind of how I trade the concept of waves, but I don't really look to count them individually and say, okay, we've got the fifth wave or the A, B, C, D, E thing, and I'm expecting price to turn around. It's just the fact that, okay, once we take up the high, we're likely to push down, or we take up the low, we're likely to push up. New Zealand CHF, we'll take a look at Temel, no problem. Demand for silver not as high for gold. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Again, that's where fundamentals will come in and play a big part as well. Because, of course, as a technical trader, you're looking at the correlation between gold and silver, and you're thinking, okay, if gold's up, so is silver. In this case scenario, silver is up, just not as much as you would expect it to be. The correlation is still there, just not very strong. And of course, you've got fundamental reasons for that. Okay, so which pairs are looking at again? New Zealand CHF. So yeah, New Zealand CHF, it's an awkward one because we're trading at the all-time low. So the only thing that makes sense at these prices is looking for longs. Shorts are good because this was such a big move. Look at that move there. So if that does pull back, then yeah, we're looking at a big sell-off. But at the moment, we're not really seeing that. We're still trading at the all-time lows, which is this support level here. In fact, the market's trying to make some new ones. So it's always a bit difficult with all-time lows and all-time highs, because it's like, okay, once price breaks through, what next? Where are we going next? There is no clear target or clear level you would target, apart from maybe psychological levels you could look at. So for instance, 0.51 would be the next one. And then you got 0.5, which is a big one, just below us there. So maybe the price is working its way to those areas potentially. But like I said, it's difficult to understand where we're going because there's just no levels to work with. So if we do break through this, which kind of looks like we're trying to do, then personally for me, I kind of leave the market alone, especially in FX and indices and stock markets in general and just bullish markets. You can ride the wave. But in FX, we tend to kind of mess around and snap back and give you fake outs as well. So it's not always the best idea to be trading all-time highs, all-time lows for FX because it's just such a gray area. So yeah, I think price is likely going to have a big move higher because number one, market's very stretched after that move, and number two, we're all-time low. So I do think we're going to have a big move up soon. But again, difficult to time that, difficult to catch that because there's little technical information as to where we're going to turn around from. So yeah, if we do form a big double bottom here, this could be a nice place for a buy. But if I'm looking for entries here, I want to see a big rejection on the 4 hour like this, a big bullish candle closing like that. Tell me, okay, momentum shifted. I'll look for some entries there, stops underneath the low. And then, yeah, I've probably got a nice trade in my hands, at least back to the high here. And then we'll go on from that. If we start breaking through this and don't see that rejection, I'll step back, let NZD CHF do its thing. It's at all-time lows. You know, the other CHF pairs that look a little bit more attractive to trade. But this could be a nice buy, but I would wait for another confirmation here for that double bottom. Strong bullish engulfing, show me momentum's coming back for the buyers. And then, yeah, that could be a decent buy. So, yeah, that's what I'll be looking at. It's a nice place for a long, of course. Just confirmation needed. And if it doesn't happen, move on to the next one. All right, no problem with Anthony. Glad you came along. Have a good one. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Okay, yes, I will take a look at dollar yen as well. Okay, so dollar yen, looking for a double bottom on that one, and rightly so. I would wait for some big rejection before getting long, because again, the idea is that dollar yen's had a really big move down. It's quite stretched to the downside. We're coming into a big area in the higher time frames, particularly in the weekly chart. As you can see, with all these higher lows, 1, 2, 3, we're coming into an area where, again, we could probably see another bounce, another push higher. This is a massive level of resistance as well. So in an area where it does make sense for high time frame buyers to step in and possibly drive price higher. But we have to be careful because there's just so much momentum in the market, and we could easily break through before that momentum, just like we've been doing with the other yen pairs, with the euro yen, with the pound yen, with the CAD yen. Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, we've been breaking through such key levels, and dollar yen might just be the last to do it. So being careful with the buys because of the momentum we're up against, but it isn't a logical level for a buy. So if we can see some rejections similar to what I was talking about on New Zealand CHF, if we can see some momentum to the upside, a strong close on the hourly or the 4 hour, depending which level you want to, which time frame you want to trade with, because you can see we're coming back into the low at the moment. So if you do see a strong bullish engulfing candle like this, that could be a nice entry signal. You could even wait for the 4 hour if you want as well. But the idea is to try and catch some retracement and then, probably look to secure some gains when you start hitting some levels up there. So I'd watch out for that for dollar yen. So it's a nice buy, nice area for a buy. Be careful because it's almost trying to catch a falling knife, really. If you do it, it's fantastic. If you don't, you're going to get sliced. So yeah, if I'm going to trade that, I'll probably trade with caution. But it does make sense. You just need to wait for the rejection, which again could come along with NFP. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Also, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. If you are enjoying the stream, finding it useful, helpful, educational, all of that good stuff, show some love. I really do appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. Bitcoin will take a look too. Temel, you're not making me tired. They're making me tired. And that's the whole point of the stream, Temel. We're supposed to converse with one another, talk to one another, share ideas. I share my ideas, my experience. People comment and share their own as well. So yeah, you chatting to me is not making me tired. Don't worry about that. But yeah, pound CHF will take a look as well. Yeah, I haven't entered the dollar yen position. I'm looking to see if we can push up higher, but I'm waiting for really strong rejection before I do take any trades because, like I said, it's trying to catch a falling knife to a certain degree. It's in a really nice area, really nice place for a buy, but I need to see a bit more evidence than that before I do hop in, and then I will take the trade. And even when I do, it's just going to be a shorter term trade, possibly back to this area. Then I'm going to start to aggressively manage it because I'm well aware this still could be the bigger move. Mastic Forex, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Somehow NZUSD is correlated to USDC Chef. Well, they both have dollar currencies involved. USDC Chef and NZUSD. Wait, is it USDC Chef or NZDC Chef you're talking about? Because obviously NZUSD and NZDC Chef will have very similar moves because NZD is the same, and CHF and USD is not far off one another as well. USD CHF and NZUSD will be similar as well, but inversely correlated. It won't be as similar, but they will be relatively similar too. NZD CHF. So NZD CHF and USD CHF. So yeah, NZD CHF, USD CHF will be fairly similar as well because of the CHF currency. At the moment, CHF is just very, very strong. A little bit like the yen pairs, CHF is just very, very strong. So USD CHF, NZD CHF, pound CHF, you name it, CHF is going to be down. And the overall trend in the market, if you look at the high time frame as well, like the monthly chart for New Zealand CHF, USD CHF, we can look quickly now. If I go to the monthly chart for both of them, the long-term trajectory is down. If I zoom out, this is dollar CHF. You can see it's been moving down. If I go to New Zealand CHF, you can see same things been moving down as well. And that's basically because CHF is the driving force in this currency group, in this currency pair. CHF is the one that kind of dictates the play a little bit more. Of course, NZD will have its say and dollar will have its say, but generally speaking, like the yen pairs as well, the CHF is the dominant currency here. So when CHF is strong, which it typically is over the time, or this period anyway, the market has been falling. So when CHF is strong, you're going to see that pair fall, and same with dollar CHF, you're going to see that fall as well. But it will have its times where it doesn't correlate so much and things look a little bit odd. But generally speaking, it's the CHF that's doing the heavy lifting here. But yeah, it's not necessarily that, okay, I'm looking at New Zealand CHF and dollar CHF as a very strong correlation partnership, if you will. If I'm looking at New Zealand CHF, I'll probably be looking at Aussie CHF because I know that NZD and Aussie are very similar currencies as well. So NZD is going to be weak, Aussie is going to be weak probably. Maybe one's going to be a bit weaker than the other. But against CHF, they're probably doing the exact same thing. like Euro CHF and Pound CHF, they'll be very, very similar because Euro and Pound are pretty similar as well. So if Euro CHF is falling, there's a very high chance Pound CHF is falling too. So yeah, those are the kind of the partnerships, the groups I'll be looking at. But yeah, generally speaking, CHF is the dominant currency there. What's up, Elder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let me take a look at Pound CHF. So Pound CHF, this one has been falling as well. Really, really nice price action. This one's taken out some key structure on the daily as well. This was the swing low. Excuse me. This was the swing low, which gave us the swing high up there. So low, high. Then we formed a higher low. We tried to make a higher high, but it failed. And price collapsed, taking out the low there. We're looking pretty bearish now. So going forward with Pound CHF, it does look like price is just kind of forming another lower high in the grand scheme of things. This is the monthly chart. Looks like we're potentially forming another high over there. So I think there's a really good chance Pound CHF is eventually working its way back to that low at 1.07028. So we go back to the daily chart. You can see we've got quite a long way to go if we're going to get there. So for the time being, I'm just looking at pullbacks. I like this low here. Broke through that pretty swiftly. Not much of a retest as well. So if the market will be kind enough just to see a bit of upside, a bit of retracement, that will be very, very much appreciated. And I'll be expecting price to continue lower. So lovely level, lovely structure we've broken through. We've left behind some really nice lows there. Looking for the retest of that. And then I'm looking for price to continue south. So yeah, Pound CHF, very, very bearish on. Very, very bearish. There's a lot of momentum in the market for the CHF pairs. So the idea is looking for a bit of relief, a bit of a breather, and keeping that bearish bias and just looking for selling opportunities when they do arise. At the moment, it's a little bit difficult because they're kind of too bearish, if that's the thing. They're too bearish because they just keep falling. So yeah, I need them to pull back. But Euro CHF is in the same boat as well. Really big moves, looking for a pullback and then downside. CAD CHF, same boat as well. Actually, CAD CHF, I'm starting to back away from, because if I'm not mistaken, these are new all-time lows. Yeah, well, since 1982, which is a long time ago, these are new all-time lows. So yeah, when the market's making new all-time lows, I'm not really so keen to trade it. Just a dodgy area, really. As I said, with New Zealand CHF, you don't know how far price is going to fall before it does pull back, or at least sees a bounce. You don't know how far price is going to move. So I don't really like trading markets which are all-time highs, all-time lows, because it's quite awkward. But yeah, I do expect a retracement at some point. Just have no idea where it's going to be. Again, it's not like I can look to the left, try and spot some structure, because there is none. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with CAD CHF. But generally speaking, on the yen pair, on the CHF pairs, we're looking for pullbacks, we're looking for retest, and we're looking for downside. Just New Zealand CHF and CAD CHF is a bit awkward, so I'm kind of staying away from them for now. But yeah, going into NFP, I'm really, really kind of just neutral on dollar. So I'm just gonna let the news do its thing, and then just wait to see after. I will be doing a NFP stream later this afternoon. So if you are free, if you are going to be watching NFP, why not do it with your favorite Forex YouTuber? Yeah, I will be streaming again later today. So I'll probably go live about 15 minutes before the news comes out. So like 1:15 UK time. 15 minutes before the news comes out, and then I'll see what happens with that. Yeah, I don't think I'll be entering any trades beforehand. Again, I don't really like to enter trades just before the news. If I'm going to enter a trade, I want to do it, a good few hours before, or hopefully the day before. So ideally, I kind of want to be in a trade, because now we've got about 2 hours and 20 minutes before the news comes out. So it's always an awkward time now, because if I do enter a trade, most likely price is still going to be at my entry price by the time the news comes out, which means there's a good chance spreads will widen and market will fluctuate and take me out for slippage, and the loss could be twice as big as I wanted it to be. So it's always a bit awkward getting into a trade now, especially as a swing. I understand maybe in the lower time frames where you can be in and out within the hour, but that's not the case for myself. Manzondi, Euro Oz, okay. Euro Aussie. Okay, so looking pretty bullish. I was hoping for a bit more downside for this one. I said yesterday I'm looking for a bigger retracement than the buy, because this move here was already so impulsive. Really, really big move higher. I was looking for the market to correct and then continue. Had a nice reaction at the high over there 2 days ago. So I was hoping we could continue a little bit lower, but looks like the market is just a little bit too bullish. Had a bit of a dip to the downside. Now looks like it's kind of on its way a little bit. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking to sell it anymore. The idea was to wait for price to break lower, probably look for the retest and then short. Now that we've just done this massive move higher, that for me is kind of invalidated the shorts, and looks like momentum just kicked in. So at this point in time, I mean, I do think the longer term move is probably back to the high, similar to what Euro NZD did. So you can see Euro NZD smashed into the high there. I think Euro Aussie is going to follow suit. But finding a good trade for it is where the tricky part comes in. It looks like price is breaking out of that kind of descending channel, if you will. So looks like it's in its next bullish phase. But a retest of this would have been a nice buy. It still would be if we get there. I just highly doubt we do anymore. So in terms of trading, it's a little bit tricky. If it was me looking to trade this, I would say I'm looking for a push back into the low, and then I'll be looking for buys, or even better, back into that level there, because I want to look for a good place to put my stop loss. And the only logical place I would have would either be underneath this low here, possibly underneath this low, but even better underneath that level. So I want to be finding entries closer in these areas, not entering here for stop loss there, because that means my risk rewards can be skewed. So I want to see price come closer to those levels, so I can put my stop losses there with good entries, good risk rewards, and play the momentum. And again, that looks like a good target there, back to the high. What's your view with Nick, and on your view about DXY? It was a nice one. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much of a view on DXY. I didn't really have much of a view, just because it was just so corrective. I said that I wasn't really looking to trade the dollar. I was eyeing up pound USD, but I wasn't really looking to trade the dollar because it's just so corrective. So I'm trying to stay away from it. I'm kind of hoping that maybe NFP, we get a big drop at some stage. We get a big drop at some stage. And that can kind of speed things up and make things interesting again. But at the moment, dollar's just been very difficult to trade, at least in a long-term view. I'm sure there's some nice trades, within the day, within the session, but looking at dollar on the daily chart, which is again where I derive my bias from, the daily, the weekly, the monthly is kind of where I develop my bias, to then drop to the 4 hour and hourly to refine that entry and refine the stop loss. Looking at the daily, the weekly, the monthly, for the dollar right now looks absolutely hectic. So yeah, same with Euro USD as well, which is why I'm trying to avoid trading Euro. It looks like Euro is kind of back in this kind of phase. Actually, no, I'll probably say more this phase actually. And it would make sense as well because we had such an aggressive move for 2022. It only makes sense for us to become ranging again. Massive move there. Market now sideways. But, if you look at the market, big move down, consolidation, big move up. That next move is going to happen soon. Whether it's going to be a big move down again, I'm not too sure, or big move up. We are going to get one at some point. You just got to ride the flow. But in the meantime, which is why it's good to trade more than one pair, you can focus on other markets which are trending well, like the yen, like the CHF, indices as well. Those are seeing some nice momentum. So that's where my focus will be for the time being. Hopefully NFP could maybe speed things up. Eric, NSDUSD, lower high point on the full hour. I haven't actually looked at NSDUSD. Okay, so you're saying potentially this could be a lower high for the market to move down. I mean, yes, it could be. I'm not quite sold personally, but it definitely could be. It could be, yeah. It could be. I like the rejection there. Big wick in the 4 hour. Yeah, that could be. The only reason why I'm not quite sold is because it hasn't come into a big level for me. Like an area of significance, a big level of support resistance. And that for me is a big part of my trading and a part of my entries. I'm looking for candlestick patterns. Come on now. I'm looking for candlestick patterns in areas of value, in areas where we are likely to see a reaction, likely to see buyers step into the market, or sellers step in, or buyers exit, or vice versa. And that could happen anywhere. But at least when I see good levels of support resistance, I know that okay, this is a nice area to get involved because we've seen previously buy step into the market or seller step into the market. So I know that now if I do take a trade here, I'm at an area where we could see that happen again. With NZUSD, there's no kind of concrete level, which looks good to me. So yeah, not just because, okay, there's no level we can't sell off. We definitely can. But just from a trading perspective, according to my plan, it wouldn't be something I would be looking at. I've talked about this low here, but it's just way too far away. I don't think we'll get there for a retest. But logically speaking, I like the rejection there. I like how it shapes on the hourly. Maybe we might have one more push up higher come NFP, and that could then give us the big sell. If that's the case, then when you go up here, that's where you're looking for your entries. And then you're looking for targets down at that low. So yeah, I don't mind that on NZUSD. Let me see a Fibonacci on this. So yeah, I haven't quite made it to the 50 either. So yeah, I would like price to see hit the 50. Again, it's not a must. Price doesn't have to hit the 50 before I do take a trade, but it's better if it does. Purely in terms of confidence. Wow, dollar CHF is dropping. I think that's more to do with CHF. Actually, no, dollar's pretty weak at the moment too. But yeah, I think CHF is definitely playing its part. Is anyone in any trades at the moment? Oh my, yeah, not looking good for Aussie CAD. I was talking about some sells yesterday. I mean, they did kind of come into action actually, which was the test of this consolidation. I said if we can get a move back into this area, retest the high, this would be a nice place for a short. Target 1 here, target 2 down there. We did hit target 1, so that would have been a nice little trade there. But of course, we failed to break through target 1. We're pushing back up now, which is again plays into the point we had earlier today about if you're going to go for bigger risk rewards, you need to have some type of management system in place, because otherwise you become a one-trick pony. And if the market doesn't do exactly what you want it to do, you don't make money, which is really not a good outlook to have. For you to make money, you have to short, and price has to get to a specific price point before you can walk away for profit. It makes things just so much harder. If you have multiple targets along the way, you're allowing yourself to be paid at different points, which means that you're a bit more flexible, which means that the market can do a number of things and you might still walk away for profit. Of course, ideally you want price to go and hit the overall target, but that's not always going to be the case. In this case, we saw a really nice move, hit that first area, which would be a logical place to put your first take profit, or secure half your trade, or secure 25% or whatever, or start trading a stop loss. It's up to you how you want to manage it. You can experiment with that. But at least here you can lock in some gains. And then if price decides it wants to continue further, fantastic. We can close some more trades off. Maybe you want to leave even more positions to run, but at least, whatever happens now, if price does reverse against you, you're walking away with something, which will help with your equity curve a lot. Because I can tell for a fact that a lot of people are in a position where they don't lock in their gains, and that's the reason what's kind of keeping them break even or losing. They're getting some really nice floating profits, and then they disappear. Then you have to start scratch again. Of course, you do want to have a bit of discipline to hold out to your take profit. But at the same time, you want to pay yourself as well. What's up, Lordo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Okay, sidelines, but recently some data seems will drive dollar down. Okay, close out. It hurts me. Yeah, it happens. Again, your idea when you come into the market is not to be perfect. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to make a profit. You're here to make money. So there will be times where you close out a trade early just to see it fall another 100, 200 pips. That always will be a scenario. Even people who trail the stop losses and give themselves a lot of room, there will be times where it just pulls back, tags the trailing stop loss, and then continues in their favor. So don't beat yourself up too much about that, because there will always be a possibility, and it will always happen. Of course, you want to try and make sure it happens less, but you can't be too perfect. I think the best thing to walk away is: do you take a good trade? Yes. Do you manage it well? Yes. Pat yourself on the back and move on to the next one. I was looking at gold pullback, never went down enough. Yeah, that's been a story for me for the yen pairs and CHF pairs the past week. Just hasn't pulled back enough. John, okay, in gold, bought 24.60. Okay, we'll take a look. Just sold the UK 100 NT from the hour time frame resistance zone. Okay, we'll take a look at that one as well, Mastic. Lauder, being spooked, it just keeps falling. I know. The indices fell pretty hard yesterday. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, we'll take a look at Aussie dollar as well. First, let me go through gold. Yeah, I'll take a look at gold and we'll go through some indices. So yeah, with gold, yeah, it's looking pretty bullish now. So again, this one didn't pull back much yesterday either. I was talking about a retest of this high as a place where we could see price pull back into, come back for a retest, and then again continue in that direction. But unfortunately, it just didn't do that yesterday. And again, that's the thing with news as well. It doesn't really give price a chance to pull back. If the news is really bearish or really bullish, it would just send price that direction. So if it hasn't already pulled back, it just adds fuel to the fire, and sometimes it's really difficult to catch good trades in that regard. But yeah, gold's still looking pretty bullish. I think it's only a matter of time before we do push back to the high. If you're looking at entries again, you do want to see price take a bit of a breather, at least back to 2430. I was discussing 2400 yesterday. I think that's still a nice place for a buy. John, you said you bought at 2460, so that's right at the high here. Okay, not right at the high. Got a bit of room there. 2460, your stop loss is 2453. That's around here somewhere. So, yeah, how many pips are you looking for? What's the plan with this move? Because you bought pretty high up and your stop loss is around here somewhere. So, you're not allowing much room for downside. I assume your idea is that, okay, there's a lot of momentum in the market right now. Gold's very, very bullish. There's definitely a bullish trend at play. I'm looking for that momentum to sustain and just keep up that momentum, because if we have a deeper pullback, I'm not interested. We might be going through a bigger correction. So I assume that's kind of your thought process. But what I want to know is how far of a move are you planning? Is it just, okay, another pop higher, or are you looking for a really big move? I will take a look at UK 100 next, and we'll take a look at Aussie dollar as well. Glad I got at US 13 good profit. I wouldn't be devastated. Yeah, I think Allah, I don't know, was it Holy One of Israel? Can't remember who it was, but yeah, they probably wish you and they were in your position today. But yeah, I mean, again, it's difficult to call the market perfectly. There'll be times where you get out, close the profit, and you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm happy with the profit there. It looked like price was not moving too well, but then you see price continue in your favor another 100 pips, and you're like, oh, why did I close the trade too early? And of course, there'll be times where you close the trade early, the market tanked, and you're like, I'm the best trader in the world. So it goes both ways. It goes both ways. But yeah, I think that the key thing is just make sure your management is pre-planned and you know what you do in terms of your management. Otherwise, you'd be very, very emotional. But yeah, it was a nice trade in US 30 from last week as well. So really nice trade. Okay, let's take a look at the UK 100. Oh, okay. So yeah, this was a buy idea I had from last week. I didn't take the trade. I don't trade. I don't trade UK 100, but I was talking about a buy idea here because we broke out of the channel. I said we're looking for the retest and looking for continuation off the back of that. So that would have been a nice trade there. However, we came into the high, fell at the high, and then of course the news yesterday caused price to tank there. So yeah, not quite making the target, but again, that's where your trading stop loss or your partials comes in. If you're locking games at reasonable places, secure 50% there or whatever percentage you want to secure, then leave the rest to run to the high. Worst case scenario, price tanks, you still walk away for decent little profit there. But yeah, that's why management is so important. But anyway, so going forward with UK 100, we're back at that same area which I was suggesting last week. it's difficult now because price action is not looking as steady. I may still be bullish long term as I'm still looking for a push back to the high. Because again, if I expand to the higher time frames, the market's still really bullish. I wouldn't expect anything else. But looking at the price action here, nice retest, nice impulse up, consolidation, impulse down. I think we probably will get a move higher, but I struggle to see how we're going to get past that high. I feel like we're going to get move high just to do that. It's a nice place for a buy, don't get me wrong. We're retesting the high, retesting the channel as well. So it's definitely a nice place for a buy. But because of the way we're moving, the way we consolidated, the way we shot to the downside so hard, I do think UK 100 will have a bit of a breather. Seen some nice rejection as well, but I do think we'll probably collapse at some point there. So let me just delete everything. So I think we'll see some upside, but I'm just not sold that we'll go too far. Yeah. So yeah, I think we'll probably do something like this. Maybe back to this point here and then sell off. But yeah, I was pretty bullish last week for UK 100, but not anymore. Where are we? So I said I was going to look at Aussie dollar as well. Eric, you're looking to short that one on 30-minute. Morning, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. No position for me this week. I've been very, very busy, to be honest. So haven't done much trading on my end. But in fairness, I was looking at a lot of the charts on Monday, Tuesday. That's when I was quite interested in the yen pairs, CHF pairs, but they just didn't pull back enough for me. But then, yeah, after that, I've been pretty busy, so I haven't been on the charts much. And then, yeah, I was looking at pound USD, but that one didn't set up anyway. So, yeah, been a week on the sidelines for myself. Yes, I will take a look at oil. Dimarcazzo. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. UK 100 massive buy above the 200 EMA. Where is that? And which 200 EMA are you referring to? 4-hour daily? I'll assume 4-hour. But yeah, I'm not quite sold on the buys for UK 100. I think we'll probably see a bit more downside. Yes, we might react at that area. We do have the 200 EMA there as well. But I do think we'll probably push down. Okay, so I'll take a look at US and Aussie dollar. I haven't actually looked at Aussie dollar yet. So yeah, Aussie dollar. It's been a bit awkward. We pushed up yesterday, a bit of rejection, and then we just sold off again. Nice little rejection there. Boom. Nice move down. Again, I'm not a big fan of the conditions of Aussie dollar just because of how price is moving. It's very, very choppy, back and forth, back and forth. I think long term, we are on a slow decline. So I'm expecting us to eventually come back to that low there. You can see if I zoom out on the weekly chart, I've been slowly pushing lower. So I do think it's a matter of time before we do end up at this area. But at the same time, conditions are just very difficult to work with. So I'm taking Aussie dollar with a very, very big pinch of salt when I'm looking to trade it. And quite frankly, I'm not really looking to trade it. Not at the moment anyway. I did suggest yesterday, if you are looking for Aussie dollar, I think shorts look good around these areas should we pull back. Eric says he's looking to short in 30-minute at the moment if the current candle closed with rejection. Planning on getting in Aussie dollar once M30 candle close rejection. Are you looking at buying or selling, Eric? Because selling, you kind of want to already be in the trade. Because if you're entering here, logical stop loss above the high there, risk reward a little bit skewed. I think you're probably looking at a 1-to-1 back to that low. Yeah, about a 1-to-1 back to that low, which is not bad. Yeah, which is not bad. But of course, ideally, we would want to see a little bit more than that. But yeah, you would kind of already want to be in the trade there on the M30. Kind of already want to be in the trade, so I'm not too sure if you're looking to buy maybe. But if you're looking to buy on the 30, I would 100% wait for price to at least push back to the low here. Don't want to be entering buys there because that's just a very awkward place for a buy, especially for your stop loss as well. So if you do something like this, fantastic. That could maybe a buy there on the low. Otherwise, I would avoid looking for buys, especially given the fact that the market's still pretty bearish as well. Mastic wanted to sell trade on silver from current resistance zone. And it's correlated to silver. That's validating my sell idea on silver. Okay, so you look at correlation quite a lot then. Yeah, I do like correlation. I don't really look at it in terms of, okay, if it will make or break a trade. But I do like having correlation in my favor as to both against it. Sometimes I will ignore correlation if the setup's really, really good. The technicals really do align. I will take the trade anyway. But of course, correlations is definitely a thing that everyone can see. So you do want it to be in your favor rather than against. So yeah, gold being bullish, likely to push higher, likely to take out the highs and create new ones. Looking to short silver, although it could still work, it will be a bit more difficult. And even if it does work, it'll probably be a slow move down, it'll be a correct move down for silver to eventually push up higher. So it might not be worth it anyway. Yes, Ben, we can take a look at oil. No problema. H4, okay, yes. Down, then up. Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sold there on the UK 100. But yeah, the long-term direction for me is still up. I'll look at that on the weekly chart. About to close with a really big rejection there on the weekly. Big rejection, big wicks there to the upside. Not looking too good, I must admit, for US 30. How are we looking for NAS? NAS has already seen a lot of rejection, push down, but we are coming back to some structure here. So if anyone's looking for some long-term buys, this could be a nice little place for it. S&P, likewise as well, not too far away from some areas here. Bitcoin not looking too good. DXY, how we're looking, just again another doji, but I'm not going to look too much into this one because NFP is still yet to come. Dollar pairs, weekly chart, a lot of momentum down. Pound, euro, small bearish candle. Again, not doing much because just within the range. Aussie dollar, small bearish candle. Again, taking these dollar pairs. We'll see what happens on the weekly with NFP this afternoon. I will be covering NFP on the channel. So if you guys do want to watch it with me, I will be streaming live probably about 15 minutes before it goes for the announcement comes out at 1:15 UK time, or 15 minutes before whenever the news is your time. So do look out for that stream. But yeah, I'll reinvestigate after the news to see how the weekly candles are looking because they could look a lot different. But at the moment, I must say, very boring stuff, bar a few charts. Gold looking pretty strong though. Anyway, I said I was going to take a look at oil. So yeah, oil last time I looked was looking pretty bullish. Okay, yeah, it was looking pretty bullish, but coming down pretty hard. Okay, so again, oil, another tricky market. Again, high time frames not looking particularly clear. You know, what is price doing? No idea. It's making high lows, but at the same time also making low highs as well. So I don't know what the market wants to do. It's going to break out eventually. You know, up or down, we'll find out. But once it does, then things will come a lot more clear in terms of a trend perspective. Right now, though, you know, we're close to support. We could break it. We could hold. Naturally, going to be looking for buys in this region, at least if you're looking for a swing and looking to take price higher. So taking all of that into consideration, I think buys look good. In terms of a good level, good entry, I mean, this is not a bad area. Maybe if you can come back down, reject it firmly. Nice rejection there. That could end up being a nice little entry. I think you got to play it conservatively, not go for any home runs. I think even if you can trade it back to this area, that could be a nice little trade. And then if you're lucky, you might get it back to the high there. It's just that it's really difficult to map out the next big swing for oil. But the buys make sense, so I'll keep an eye on something like that. Or if you do push a little bit lower, some buys on that low could look good too. But I would be bullish there on oil because of where we're coming into on the daily chart. And then, yeah, if you break through, we rediscuss it, reanalyze, because the bias would be changed. But for now, we're still comfortably within that range, comfortably within that triangular pattern. So looking for the buys low and looking to sell high. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm glad to see you made it. Glad to see you made it. Jay Smith. Yes, I will take a look at Euro USD. Oh, do not mean to do that. Like almost, what's that? L pairs? L pairs? Yeah, I'm not too sure what L is. Due to rising tension, only gold, JPY, CHF is gaining strength. Yeah, of course the fundamentals will play. Again, technicals are only just us mapping out what we think the market's going to do. The fundamentals are the driving force, of course. But yeah, gold. You would expect dollar to be trying to gain strength, but maybe because of the politics, it's a little bit weird. Anyway, so I will go take a look at Euro USD, and then we'll go through okay, looking for Aussie dollar buys due to NFP. Okay, so you're trying to take advantage of that NFP coming in. Okay, fair enough. So you're more kind of trading the news announcements rather than the solid setup. It's more the fact you're expecting the news to be bullish for Aussie dollar. Okay, let me go through euro. So yeah, euro is a bit tricky. I'm not really seeing much on euro, to be honest. I'm looking for something like this to come into play, but it's a big if. I'm thinking the dollar can take a bit of a dive. I do think the dollar might drop. Maybe not necessarily today, but I do think the dollar is going to take a bit of a hit to the downside eventually. So I would be expecting euro to do the inverse of that, which would be something like this and a swing to the upside. We've got a lovely low down here. We've got the high over there, got a nice little low over there, new high over there. And possibly this could be an area where we form the next higher low to then push up back to the high. So that's where the analysis and the thought process comes in. We are still seeing this steady bullish structure as price pushes on. So low, high, low, high, low, possibly new high. And And we have been pretty corrective as well. I think we've just about tested 0.618, or maybe we missed it by a little bit. Okay, so we missed it by a little bit, but we're in that 0.5 area. So it's a reasonable place for us to pull back and continue higher. So I do think we got a strong possibility of seeing that, especially when the pullback is so corrective like it is right now. But again, nice little channel out. You can see we're very corrective in this. So if you're looking for buys for euro, I think a good setup will be waiting for that breakout, which may or may not come with the NFP. Waiting for that breakout and then looking for your pullbacks afterwards on a retest of the high somewhere. And yeah, looking for your pullbacks on the way up. I mean, you could look to try and anticipate the high low forming in the channel. You know, buy low there when we dip. But of course, this would be a lot safer than trying to catch the low, because it may not form. We could continue falling, but at the same time, that will give you a better entry, a better risk reward, and then this opportunity could be a bit more like a adding to a trade rather than getting to the trade for the first time. So that will be up to you depending on the trader, but that's kind of the move I'm looking for euro. Looking at upside back to the high and looking at dollar falling. But yeah, conditions aren't particularly great, so I'm not really keen on trading it myself. Yeah, if NP does come good for dollar, stay. I mean, again, I'm just going to see. We'll streaming the news later today on the next live. I will be live again later today. I'll drop a link in the Telegram and on the Discord as well of the next stream later today. I'll go live 15 minutes before. We'll cover the news there, see what happens with everything. But yeah, I'm kind of looking for dollar weakness. And it's more of a intuition rather than something tangible, because like I said, I'm not in any positions. I'm not looking to jump into any right now. So yeah, it's more intuition than anything. So that is not a signal at all. But that's just what I think will happen. Is anyone going to be holding any trades into the news today? Or are people going to close their trades early? Right, twice a day. Definitely lucky day. As always, man, every day is lucky. Like you always say, more. Every day is a great day. Especially today with NFP, so it should be some fireworks. And I think we're probably going to see a lot of slow price action until the news, because pound USD's barely budged since we spoke. Euro USD's seen some upside. I think Euro's just strong at the moment. I don't know why Euro's really strong. If anyone knows that, feel free to fill me in. I know we had some Euro news Tuesday or Wednesday. I think CPI for Euro. But yeah, prices are really strong today. Do we have news today? Let me check. Friday. Nope, that's not Friday. Yeah, it didn't really have. I mean, we had a bit of Portugal, bit of Italy, but nothing crazy. I have no idea why Euro is so strong. And then yeah, NFP at 130. And got some Bank of Canada as well and Bank of England speech, 12:15. But yeah, I have no idea why Euro's pumping hard. But anyway, I like the movement, so I'm not going to complain. I'd rather it was moving than not. But besides from Euro and maybe CHF, market's pretty stale. So yeah, that tells me it's just waiting for news, waiting for NFP, and then it should be an interesting afternoon. There you can see the big difference between Euro and Pound. Huge move up over the past few hours. And now it's made Euro Pound a little bit awkward. Although it's been having a nice trend, I'm not too sure if I'll be so keen to sell it. See what we can do on the retest of this level. But I don't like the fact how we're pushing up, and it looks like we're trying to break structure as well. If you just form an equal high, that's great. But if you start breaking through, that's not good. So I'd watch out for that. Nice retest of the high there. That could be a nice trade. If you start breaking through, I would run away. But yeah, in terms of my watch list going into the rest of the day, again, my watch list is more, at this point, it's more kind of for next week rather than today. Yeah. Yeah, I understand GBP being weak, but Euro is just really strong. But yeah, you're definitely right. Pound's pretty weak, so Euro Pound was moving pretty strong to the upside yesterday. And I guess it's kind of spilling in today a little bit, but it's more Euro doing work than Pound, I would say. So yeah, my watch list going into next week is a lot of the yen pairs and CHF pairs, but a lot of the yen pairs. Euro yen looks really good to me as well. So we'll be looking for some pullbacks, looking for some retests, again looking for a lower high, and then looking to continue that path to the downside. Pound yen likewise as well, looking for a pullback, lower high, continue that path to the downside. CAD yen looking for a pullback, continue that path to the downside. Again, when in conditions like this, it's very straightforward in terms of what I want to do with the market, where I want to put my entries, where I want to put my stop losses. Things have just become a lot clearer. So when the conditions like this, I want to be all over it. And when the conditions like this, I want to kind of back off. So in terms of dollar, not too sure if any dollar pairs will make the watch list. I mean, we'll see what happens with NFP because maybe things might change. But at the moment, yeah, I don't think any will make it. Maybe dollar CHF, and then that's purely more because of CHF strength rather than dollar weakness. But I like CHF, dollar CHF. Pushing down pretty hard. We've got a big level over here, which price is likely to come and test. So, yeah, some pullbacks on that would be much appreciated. So I do like dollar CHF to the downside. Gold buys, maybe, if we get a decent pullback. Silver buys, not really. Not a big fan of that. CAD pairs, no. Some of the crosses, no. And yeah, CHF, CAD CHF, not anymore because we just taken out the all-time lows, so now it's a little bit awkward. Euro CHF, yes, I do like the pullbacks for this one. Some shorts there look good, and a continuation there. Pound CHF, I like this one a lot as well. Retest this low here, take some shorts there. Looks pretty good to me. Aussie CHF, this one's really close to the low, but a decent pullback would be nice. So yeah, if this one can come and retest that, that'll be fantastic. And take some shorts like that. And yeah, that'll be my watch list for next week. No, I haven't looked at that yet. Was it Rambo documentary? Oh, okay. The level I'm looking for Euro Yen is 164, 165, 165 would be an area I look to short from. Yeah, around 165. No worries, you are forgiven. Holy One of Israel. You won't be the only one doing that. Okay, Mark's already pricing in negative data for NFP, giving you a shove. Okay, appreciate that, Mastic Forex. Because I'm wondering why Euro's just pushing up. I know pound will still kind of be weak from yesterday, so I'm not expecting pound to follow suit, but I probably would say Euro, maybe Euro behind like CHF and Yen's probably the next strongest currency. But we'll see what the NFP does because that's when it actually does come out. Gold high. What do you mean by that? Is gold going to the high? I'll expect it to. Do I think that that's the bottom? I reckon generally yes, but I wouldn't say to the pip. As in, I wouldn't be too surprised if price would just kind of, let me just move this out of the way, because we've got NFP this afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised if price kind of spikes down one more time and then kind of moves up. I think generally this area will be the bottom. So anywhere in here, I'll kind of give myself like a 50 pip room from that low. Actually, 50 pip, more like 100 pips. 100 pip kind of buffer. But I'd say generally in this area here, that probably will be the bottom. But yeah, in terms of placing like a stop loss underneath that low there, I think you'd be vulnerable because we could easily spill to the downside and then push up. But yeah, I think in here will probably be the bottom. But I'm not really interested in calling that just yet. I'm more interested in the short, and 165 looks like a nice little place for me. Okay, we'll take a look at EuroCAD to wrap things up. Vanessa, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Having trouble with the Discord link. Okay, let me post another one. Don't know why it keeps expiring. Because pretty sure I sent the link to not expire. I'll post it in the chat. So yeah, that link there in the chat should work. I was expecting a bit more downside for EuroCAD. I was expecting EuroCAD to keep falling back to the low, but pushed up. So yeah, I think this would be a nice little place for a short. So I'd watch out for that. I think entries on the hourly would look good. If you come up, throw some wicks, maybe a nice bearish engulfing. I feel like that would be a nice place for a short because you're still trading at a big level on the daily chart here. Massive rejection there. So that would still be a nice place for a short, and there's still a lot of room. But I would take it, be a little bit careful because we could definitely be breaking through this. So if we do see some nice rejection up there, fantastic. I would say move back into this area looks realistic. And that's kind of an area where we probably want to start managing the trade because we might find support there. We might just go and break through it. So because there's still momentum to the upside in the daily chart. So let's not forget to factor that in. But shorts up there look good to around 1.502. And I would say watch out for this area as your first target, or as an area just to manage the trade. But yeah, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. I will be live again later today for the NFP stream. So if you are watching NFP, feel free to tune in. I'll go live about 15 minutes before the news does start. So we'll talk about some build up, watch the news together, see what happens. So if you are interested in that, make sure you do check that stream out. Yeah, I'll post links to it in the Telegram. So if you're in the Telegram, you'll see it. Otherwise, put your bell on. You'll be notified when I go live as well. If you guys have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, like the NFP stream later today. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Check out the Discord link. I just dropped it there in the chat so you can't miss it. Appreciate my moderators for helping me out, and of course everyone else for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Have a fantastic day if I don't see you later on, and have a good weekend.